We all search for that one trick, that secret hack to get ahead. But what if the path you are always told to avoid, the path of discipline, is the only direct way to where you want to go? Stay until the very end, because the final understanding we will uncover is not about changing what you do, but about transforming who you are. Misunderstood freedom. It is a beautiful thing to observe in our modern world, this deep, deep yearning for freedom. It is a word that we hold in such high regard. The freedom to choose, the freedom to act, the freedom to be whoever we want to be. And very often we come to understand this freedom as the ability to do whatever we want at any moment we want. If I feel like doing something, I do it. If I do not feel like it, I do not do it. This, we believe, is the ultimate expression of our liberty, of our self-sovereignty. But if we sit with this idea for a moment, if we look at it not just with our minds, but with the felt experience of our lives, we might begin to see a different picture emerge. We might begin to see that this version of freedom is not freedom at all. It is, in fact, a very subtle form of bondage. When you are guided only by the fleeting impulse of the moment, the sudden desire for a distraction, the sudden aversion to a task that feels difficult, you are not the one in control. You are not the master of your own ship. You are instead a small boat being tossed around on a vast, unpredictable ocean of feelings, urges, and external stimuli. A notification on your phone can pull you in one direction. A sudden feeling of boredom can push you in another. A craving for comfort can steer you towards the rocks of procrastination. In this state, where is the freedom? You are a servant to every passing whim. You are not navigating, you are merely reacting. And a life of reaction is a life without a destination. It is a life of being perpetually moved, but never truly moving forward in a direction of your own choosing. The result of this kind of freedom is often a deep sense of dissatisfaction. You end the day feeling exhausted, yet you look back and cannot see what you have truly accomplished. You feel busy, but not productive. You feel stimulated, but not fulfilled. It is because your energy, which is your most precious resource, has been scattered in 1,000 different directions. It has been given away to things that did not matter, to impulses that did not serve your deeper purpose. True freedom is not the absence of structure. True freedom is having a structure that is so strong, so aligned with your own will, that it liberates you from the tyranny of the trivial. It is the power to say no to the 1,000 things that do not matter, so you can give your full self to the one thing that does. Think of a river that has no banks, no defined channel, simply spills out over the land. It becomes a swamp. It is stagnant, muddy, its power completely diffused. It goes nowhere. But a river with strong, clear banks, a structure, can channel all of its water, all of its power in a single direction. It can carve through mountains. It can generate immense energy. It can travel for thousands of miles to reach the sea. The banks do not imprison the river. They give it its power. They give it its freedom to move, to flow, to fulfill its purpose. This is the nature of discipline. It is not a cage. It is the strong, clear banks that you build for the river of your own life, allowing you to channel your power towards the ocean of your highest potential. This is the first and most important shift in understanding we must make. To see discipline not as a punishment or a restriction, but as the very tool that carves out the space for real freedom to exist. The freedom to not be a slave to your own moods. The freedom to follow through on the promises you make to yourself. The freedom to build something meaningful, step by steady step, even on the days you do not feel like it. This is a freedom that is earned. It is a freedom that is built. And it is a freedom that is far more profound, far more satisfying than the fleeting pleasure of following every impulse. It is the difference between being a leaf blown by the wind and being the mountain that stands firm in the storm, clear in its purpose and unshakable in its presence. It requires a re-evaluation of what we truly seek. Do we seek momentary ease, or do we seek lasting empowerment? The answer to that question will determine the path we choose to walk. The initial resistance to this idea is natural. The mind, accustomed to its patterns of seeking immediate gratification, will rebel. It will tell you that structure is boring, that discipline is painful. It will try to convince you that the open, unstructured path is the path of creativity and joy. But look deeper. Look at any great artist, any great musician, any great thinker or athlete. At the foundation of their incredible creativity and their spectacular achievements, you will find a bedrock of unwavering discipline. They mastered the scales before they could improvise. They mastered the fundamental forms before they could create their own style. They showed up every single day, especially on the days of no inspiration, and they did the work. Their freedom was not found by avoiding structure. It was born from it. It was the reward for their commitment. So the first step on this path is not to force yourself into a rigid schedule against your will. It is a much gentler, much more internal process. It begins with observation. Simply observe your own mind. Observe how it pulls you away from your intentions. Observe the excuses it creates. Observe the feelings it generates to justify distraction. Do not judge it. Do not fight it. Simply see it. This seeing, this awareness is the beginning of reclaiming your power. You begin to separate yourself from the impulse. You see the desire arise, but you realize, I am not that desire. I am the one who is watching it. And in that space between the impulse and the action, true freedom is born. You get to choose. You get to decide if this action serves your purpose or not. This is the beginning of building the riverbanks. This is the beginning of true self-mastery. Unseen path. When we hear the word shortcut, our mind immediately pictures a way of getting to a destination faster by skipping parts of the journey. We imagine a secret path through the forest that avoids the long, winding road. And in our culture of seeking immediate results, we are constantly looking for these shortcuts in our lives. The shortcut to wealth, the shortcut to fitness, the shortcut to happiness. We buy the book, we watch the video, we take the course, all with the hope that it will give us a map to this secret easy path. But more often than not, we find that these so-called shortcuts lead us to a dead end, or worse, they lead us in a circle right back to where we started, only now with less time and less energy than before. We have been sold a promise that does not align with the fundamental nature of reality. The misunderstanding lies in the definition of a shortcut. The true shortcut is not about skipping the work. The true shortcut is the path that has the least amount of wasted effort. It is the most direct, most efficient, and most effective route from where you are to where you want to be. And what does this path look like? It is the path of doing the right thing in the right way, consistently over time. It is the path that avoids the detours of procrastination, the dead ends of starting and stopping, and the painful process of having to undo mistakes made from a lack of focus. This direct path, this path of least waste, has a name. We call it discipline. It may not look like a shortcut at the beginning. In fact, at the start, it often feels like the opposite. It feels slow, deliberate, even difficult. Imagine you want to learn a sequence of movements, a form in martial arts. On the first day, you learn one small movement. You practice it again and again. It feels awkward. Your body does not understand. Your mind is frustrated. It feels incredibly slow. A person looking for a shortcut might try to learn the entire form in one day. They will rush through it. Their movements will be sloppy. They will have no foundation. They might be able to mimic the shape of the form, but it will have no power, no substance. They have taken a shortcut and arrived at an empty destination. But the disciplined student who practices that one small movement until it becomes second nature and then adds the next and the next is building something real. Each day, they are laying one perfect brick. The process feels slow, but they are not creating any wasted motion. They are not learning things incorrectly that they will have to unlearn later. Their progress is linear and cumulative. After 100 days of this slow practice, their execution of the form is precise, powerful, and fluid. The other person, the one who sought the shortcut, is likely still trying to remember the sequence, their movements still clumsy and ineffective. They have spent 100 days rushing and repeating mistakes. Who truly found the faster path? The disciplined student did. Their commitment to the slow, deliberate process was the most direct and efficient route to true mastery. This is the paradox. The path that looks slow is actually fast, and the path that looks fast is often infinitely slow. Discipline is the ultimate shortcut because it eliminates the single greatest waste of our time and energy, the need to constantly restart. Every time you give up on a goal, you lose not just the time you invested, but your momentum. When you decide to start again, you are not starting from where you left off. You are starting from behind, because you now have to overcome the inertia of having stopped and the psychological weight of a past failure. The disciplined person never has to pay this price. They may move slowly, but they are always moving forward. Their progress compounds day after day like interest in a bank account. A small, consistent daily deposit eventually grows into a fortune. A small daily act of discipline eventually grows into a transformed life. This is why it is so crucial to shift our perspective. We must stop seeing discipline as the long, hard road and begin to see it for what it is: the only guaranteed path. It is the one way to ensure that the energy you expend today will still be serving you tomorrow, next week, and next year. It is the way to build a foundation so solid that it can support any structure you wish to build upon it. It is the unseen path that lies in plain sight, available to every single one of us. It does not require special talent or a fortunate birth. It requires only the decision to take the next indicated step and then the next, without demanding that the destination appear tomorrow. The shortcut is the process itself. It is found in the commitment to the path, not in the longing for the destination. When you embrace this, a great sense of peace can enter your life. You are no longer frantically searching for the next trick or the next secret. You are no longer anxious about how far away the goal seems. Your entire focus narrows to the present moment, to the single task in front of you. Can I perform this one action with excellence? Can I give this one moment my full attention? That is all that is required. The future, the grand goal, will take care of itself. It is the inevitable result of 1,000 well-lived moments, of 1,000 well-executed actions. You stop trying to leap across the canyon and instead focus on laying the next stone for the bridge that will carry you across. And one day, you look up and realize you are on the other side. You have arrived, and you know with a certainty that no one can take from you, that you built the way with your own hands. Body's wisdom. Our mind is a very powerful tool, but it can also be our greatest source of resistance. It negotiates, it rationalizes, it creates stories and excuses. When we decide to build a new discipline, the mind is often the first part of us to protest. It tells us we are tired, that we can do it tomorrow, that it is not so important. We can get caught in an endless internal debate, a battle of wills with our own thoughts. But we have a powerful ally in this process, an ally that does not negotiate or complain, an ally that learns through pure experience and repetition. This ally is our body. And if we want to truly understand how discipline creates a shortcut, we must look to the wisdom of the body. Think about the process of learning to walk. As a small child, this was an incredibly complex task. It required immense focus, balance, coordination. You would fall, you would get up, you would try again. It was a process of intense, moment-to-moment discipline. You did not think, "This is too hard, I will just crawl for the rest of my life." The innate drive to move forward was stronger than the discomfort of the process. And through thousands of repetitions, something magical happened. The knowledge of walking moved from your conscious, struggling mind into the very cells of your body. It became an automatic process. Now, you do not think about walking at all. You simply decide you want to go to the other side of the room, and the body executes the command flawlessly without any conscious effort from you. This is the blueprint for all discipline. The goal is to take a new desired action and, through consistent repetition, move it from the realm of difficult conscious effort into the realm of easy automatic habit. You're training the body, training the nervous system to adopt a new pattern until that pattern becomes its default state. At the beginning of learning to meditate, sitting still for 5 minutes can feel like a battle. The mind is racing, the body is restless. It requires immense willpower. But if you do it every single day, the body starts to learn. It begins to understand that this time is for stillness. The restlessness subsides. The mind begins to settle more quickly. After a year of daily practice, sitting down to meditate is no longer a struggle. It is a relief. The body craves it. The discipline has become a source of comfort, not a source of conflict. This is the shortcut. It is bypassing the endless negotiations of the conscious mind by embedding the desired behavior directly into the wisdom of the body. When you brush your teeth, you do not have a long debate with yourself about whether you should do it or not. You simply do it. The habit is so deeply ingrained that it requires almost zero mental energy. Now imagine if the most important tasks in your life, the actions that lead you towards your goals, could be performed with the same automatic ease. Imagine if starting your most important work for the day was as effortless as brushing your teeth. This is not a fantasy. This is the natural outcome of consistent, repeated action. The body learns through doing, not through thinking about doing. This is why it is so important to start with an action that is so small, so simple, that the mind does not have a chance to resist it. If you want to exercise, do not start by committing to an hour at the gym every day. Start by committing to doing one push-up. Just one. The mind cannot argue with one push-up. It is too small to be intimidating. But by doing that one push-up, you are sending a signal to your body. You are initiating a new pattern. You are casting a vote for a new identity. The next day, you do it again and again. Soon the body begins to expect it. The pathway in the nervous system gets stronger, and that one push-up naturally grows into 2, then 5, then a full workout, not because you forced it, but because the body began to enjoy the feeling of movement and strength. We place too much emphasis on motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fickle. They come and go like the weather. If you rely on motivation to act, you will only act on the sunny days. Discipline is not about waiting for the right feeling. It is about creating the right action regardless of the feeling. The beautiful secret is that action often creates motivation. Once you get started, once the body is in motion, the mind often follows. A sense of accomplishment from that one small action can generate the positive feeling you were waiting for. So do not wait for motivation. Let the body lead the way, and let motivation be the reward for your discipline, not the prerequisite for it. The body is your anchor to the present moment. The mind can wander to the past or worry about the future, but the body is always right here, right now. By focusing on the physical act of your discipline, the feeling of your feet on the ground as you run, the sensation of the pen in your hand as you write, the movement of your breath as you meditate, you pull your full attention into the now. And in the now, there is no room for the anxiety of the goal or the baggage of the past. There is only the action itself. This is where the work gets done. This is where the transformation happens. Trust the wisdom of your body. It is your most faithful partner on the path of discipline. Let it learn the way, and it will carry your mind with it. Structuring emptiness. There is a concept in many Eastern philosophies that can seem paradoxical at first. It is the idea that the most powerful things are often not the solid objects, but the empty spaces that contain them. The value of a cup is not in the clay that forms its walls, but in the emptiness inside that holds the water. The value of a room is not in the walls and the ceiling, but in the empty space where we can live and breathe. And the power of a wheel is not in the spokes, but in the empty hub at the center that allows it to turn. This same principle applies directly to the nature of discipline and its role in our lives. We often think of discipline as adding things, adding rules, adding tasks, adding obligations, but its true power lies in its ability to create and structure emptiness. When your life lacks structure, when it lacks the container of discipline, your time and energy are like water spilled on a flat surface. They spread out thinly in every direction, achieving nothing and quickly evaporating. There is no depth, no direction, no power. Your day becomes filled with a clutter of small, reactive tasks, half-finished projects, and constant distractions. There is no empty space. There is no room for deep thought, no room for creativity to arise, no room for quiet contemplation. The mind is perpetually occupied, but it is occupied with noise. It is the opposite of the cup. It is all clay and no space. It is full, but it cannot hold anything of value. Discipline in its highest form is the act of consciously creating emptiness. It is the art of structuring your life in such a way that you create protected, sacred spaces of time and focus. When you have the discipline to wake up early and dedicate the first hour of your day to your most important work, you are not just adding a task, you are building the walls of a container. You are creating an empty, silent space, free from the demands of the outside world, into which you can pour your best energy. This structured emptiness is where true progress happens. It is where insights are born. It is where difficult problems are solved. It is where you connect with your deeper purpose. This is why so many people today feel a sense of being constantly overwhelmed. Our technology has created a world where there are no more empty spaces. Every moment of boredom, every quiet minute waiting in line can be instantly filled with a stream of information from our phones. We have lost the structure of emptiness that was once a natural part of life, and we are paying the price with our attention, our creativity, and our peace of mind. Discipline is the conscious act of reclaiming this space. It is saying, this hour is for deep work only. No email, no social media, no distractions. It is creating a boundary, a wall for your cup, so that your focus can be held and deepened. Think of a trellis for a climbing plant. Without the trellis, the plant will grow along the ground. It will get tangled, it will not receive enough sunlight, and it will never reach its full potential. The trellis, the structure, does not force the plant to grow. It simply provides the guidance and support for the plant to grow upwards towards the light, as is its nature. Discipline is your trellis. It does not crush your creativity or your spontaneity. It provides the framework upon which your natural talents and aspirations can climb, allowing them to reach heights they never could have achieved on their own. The structure gives form to your potential. It channels your life force in a productive, upward direction. This is a profound shift from seeing discipline as a limitation to seeing it as a liberation. The structure you create frees you from the endless decision-making of an unstructured day. When you know that from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. you will write, you do not have to waste mental energy at 8:55 a.m. deciding what you should do. The decision is already made. The container is already built. All you have to do is step inside and begin. This conservation of mental energy is one of the greatest gifts of a disciplined life. It allows you to save your willpower and your cognitive resources for the work itself, rather than for the meta work of deciding what to do and fighting off distractions. So look at your life and ask yourself, where are my empty spaces? Where are the containers I have built for my focus? Or is my energy spilling out all over the place? The answer is not to add more things to your to-do list. The answer is to begin building the structures. Create a morning routine. Define a specific time for exercise. Schedule a block of time for uninterrupted deep work. Protect this time as if it were the most valuable treasure you possess, because it is. It is the structured emptiness that will hold your success, your creativity, and your peace. It is the hub of the wheel that will allow your entire life to turn smoothly and with purpose. Build the cup and you will find you have something to drink from. Effortless action. We have arrived at the final and most beautiful part of this understanding. We began by seeing discipline not as bondage, but as true freedom. We explored how it is the only real shortcut, the most direct path. We understood that it is a process of training the body to bypass the mind's resistance, and that its function is to create the structured emptiness for our potential to flourish. But what is the ultimate destination of this path? Is it a life of constant grinding effort? Is it a future where every day is a battle of willpower? No, that is merely the training ground. The final stage, the true gift of a deeply embedded discipline, is a state that can be described as effortless action. This is the state known in Taoist philosophy as Wu Wei. It does not mean being lazy or doing nothing. It means acting in perfect harmony with the flow of things, where the right action happens by itself, without struggle, without internal friction. It is the state of the master musician whose fingers dance across the keys without a single conscious thought. It is the state of the master athlete whose body responds perfectly in the heat of the game, faster than the mind can command. It is a state where the discipline has become so much a part of you that it is no longer discipline. It is simply who you are. The action happens through you, not because of you. This is the shortcut realized. At the beginning, the path of discipline is all about conscious effort. It requires willpower. It requires focus. You are pushing the boulder up the hill. You have to be mindful of every step to fight against the gravity of your old habits. This is the necessary phase of building the new neural pathways, of training the body and mind. But if you continue, if you are consistent, a shift happens. You reach the top of the hill and you begin to push the boulder down the other side. Now momentum is on your side. The action begins to sustain itself. It becomes easier to do the right thing than to not do it. It feels more unnatural to skip your workout than to do it. It feels more jarring to be distracted than to be focused. Your entire system, your body, your mind, your spirit, has been recalibrated to a new baseline. The hard thing has become the easy thing. The conscious choice has become the unconscious preference. This is where the magic lies. The immense effort you invested at the beginning has now been transformed into an even greater amount of effortless momentum. The struggle has dissolved. The internal battle is over. You have won, not by crushing the opponent, but by integrating it. The part of you that resisted has now become the part of you that supports. This is true self-mastery. It is not about controlling yourself with an iron fist. It is about aligning all the parts of yourself so that they move together in a single, harmonious direction. This state of effortless action is the ultimate freedom. It is a freedom from your own mind. You are no longer held captive by its negotiations, its fears, its endless chatter. You have transcended the need for moment-to-moment willpower because your will has already been imprinted onto your very being. You act from a place of deep alignment and integrity. You do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, with a sense of calm, focus, and even grace. This is the true success that discipline offers. It is not just about achieving external goals, although that is often a byproduct. It is about achieving a state of inner peace and profound effectiveness. So do not be discouraged by the difficulty at the beginning of the path. See it for what it is, the necessary investment. You are building the foundation. You are pushing the boulder up the hill. Every act of conscious discipline, no matter how small, is a deposit into the bank account of your future self. And one day, you will find that account has grown so large that it begins to pay you dividends of effortless action. The struggle will fall away, and you will be left with the pure, joyful experience of moving through life with purpose and flow. You will not have to force yourself to walk the path because you have become the path. This is the ultimate shortcut, to transform yourself so profoundly that the destination is no longer a place you are trying to get to, but a natural expression of who you are in every moment. The shortcut is not a trick you learn, but a person you become. It is not about adding more complexity to your life, but about stripping away everything that is not essential. It is the slow, patient, and deliberate carving of a stone, removing all that is not the statue, until the masterpiece that was always waiting within is finally revealed. The path is not easy, but it is clear. And the reward is not just what you will accomplish, but the peace you will find in the person you had to become to accomplish it. I've always seen discipline as a cage I was supposed to lock myself in. After listening to this, I understand for the first time that discipline isn't the cage. It's the key to the cage I'm already in, the cage of my own impulses and distractions. This reframing is life-changing. Thank you. Has anyone else started with one tiny daily disciplined action and seen it ripple out into other parts of your life? I'm curious to hear.